Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome, and thank you for joining us for tonight's event. My name is Blair, and I work with The Word, a storytelling sanctuary. We are co hosting this event, and we are a nonprofit working to build a publishing community that will fight for inclusivity. Our mission is to promote voices from underserved communities and diverse backgrounds, to honor the stories of those who have faced adversity and injustice, and to provide a sanctuary space where we can see ourselves in literature. To learn more, you can visit us at thewordfordiversity.org. Again, that's thewordfordiversity.org. We are thrilled to partner with the amazing Duende District. Representing Duende is the founder and owner, Angela Maria Spring. Welcome, Angela. Angela will introduce our amazing guests.
Thank you so much, Blair. Oh my goodness. It's been a while. Bienvenidos, mi gente. As always, so much love and gratitude to our partners, The Word. They have been working with us on so many just amazing virtual events these past 3 years now. Again, I'm Angela Maria Spring. I'm the owner of Duende District. We are a collaborative pop-up bookstore by and for people of color where all are welcome. And we're currently have partnered bookstore boutiques in Washington, D.C. at Shopkeepers and our brand new one in Brooklyn, New York at Early Eves Cafe. And for those of you who are new to our bookstore story, the cornerstone of the Duende Project is about the collective, the community, and the creation of decolonized literary spaces that center and celebrate Black, Indigenous, and people of color. And I am so delighted that Duende District has the honor to virtually launch a book I have been anticipating like crazy since I saw the publishing announcement what seems like forever ago. And if that wasn't exciting enough, the author is a good friend to both myself and the store. Plátanos Are Love is Alyssa Reynoso-Morris's debut, but this is only the first of 3 books she's dropping on us. Like, she's so talented and taking children's publishing by storm. I stand in awe. I know all of you who are here stand in awe as well. So not only is this powerful picture book about one of my favorite foods in the world, as well as my son's, because yeah, he steals them off my plate if I don't eat them fast enough. I will literally give him like 3/4 of the plantain, but and have like 3 plantains, and he'll have eaten all his. And then like if I haven't eaten mine yet, he literally just he's like about to turn 4, just reaches over and grabs them because he loves plantains. So he loves this book, of course. Like I'm just thinking about that. I love my son. He's so wonderful. Anyway, Alyssa tells the most perfect, touching story about how Platanos are a part of our Caribbean ancestry and family histories. And with stunning illustrations by Mariyah Rahman, this is a special book that will hold an honored place in all our children's libraries and memories. So just a quick, I want to let you know what's going to be happening. We're going to get to listen to Alyssa read from her book, and then we're going to have a discussion with Mariyah, and we'll do a draw with her as well. And then we'll have a Q&A question. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time. And then we'll also drop the link to buy the book, which is always, if you don't have the book, please buy it. Please buy it with Duende. So let's learn more about our guests. Alyssa Reynoso-Morris is a queer Afro-Latinx Dominican and Puerto Rican writer, wife, mother, and community organizer. During the day, she works with community members, nonprofit organizations, and government officials to make the world a better place. Then she puts her writer's hat on to craft heartfelt stories about home, family, food, and the fun places she has been. Alyssa was born and raised in the Bronx and currently lives in Philadelphia with her partner and daughter. She hopes you enjoy her stories. And Mariyah Rahman was born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago. She spent her earliest years climbing trees, digging for fossils, and drawing on walls with crayons. Today, she is an illustrator for children's books and entertainment, but still has never found a fossil. I hope you find a fossil. Lastly, before we pass it on to our guests, please let us know in the chat where you're all from, and if you're parents or writers or artists or just anything that you feel proud of being. We would love to hear from you. We also have a special surprise coming up that we would like to share with you. So with that, thank you for listening, and let's give it over to our guest of honor.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh. Like, I might cry. So disclaimer, if I do, thanks for all the beautiful comments in the chat. Like, we've been like super excited about this. Keep the love coming. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Please stay till the end because there's going to be a fun giveaway. All right. So without further ado, Plátanos Are Love. I'm going to read a little bit of the book, not the whole thing, you know, the whole copyright reasons. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble with my publisher, but I'll read a good chunk of it. And then I'm going to pass the mic. You're going to learn more about the illustration process and all of that, which is going to be really exciting for me because I am not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. So this is fun. And then we'll have some questions. So if you have questions now, feel free to pop them in the chat. We'll address them a little bit after our programming, and then we're gonna have a fun giveaway. So here we go. All right. Can everyone hear me? Make sure if you can't hear me, just tell me in the chat and I will adjust my volume because we know us Latinos can get real loud. Okay, so here we go. En el mercado, abuela says, plátanos are love. I thought they were food, but abuela says they feed us in more ways than one. On my tippy toes, I reach for the biggest plátanos at the top of the tall pile. Abuela says our ancestors picked plátanos de los árboles. I imagine plucking them from high up in the trees, like mi familia from long ago. I place the plátanos all together in a bag and worry they'll get smushed. Abuela says, Esme, don't worry. Plátanos grow in tight bunches, snuggled up closely, como nuestra familia. As we walk down las calles, I carry them close to my heart. When we get home, I follow Abuela into la cocina, where we cook creamy and rich mangú for breakfast. Let me know in the chat if you've had mangú before. Crack, crack. Abuela splits open plátanos verdes. She boils and mashes them with butter and salt. I top them off with cebollas rojas fritas that spell amor. Sí, Abuela, is this your mama's recipe? I ask. Sí, mi amor. And it will be la receta you'll teach tus hijos un día. Every time we cook, Abuela tells me she's been eating plátanos since she was my age. Did your abuela y su madre eat plátanos too? Abuela says, sí, Esme. Los plátanos son la comida of our ancestors. Siempre recuerda, plátanos are part of our history, Abuela says. Recipes were passed down in secreto because our ancestors weren't allowed to leer, escribir, or dibujar like you do in your notebook. That's why Abuela knows every recipe by heart. Look at Esme, she's so concerned. Can you imagine if you weren't allowed to read or write or draw? Be so sad. When I ask which recipe she learned first, Abuela says, salty and crispy tostones. Mi favorito. They're my favorite too. So I pay special attention to the chop chop as Abuela slices the firm plátanos verdes. Pop, pop, We fry them until they look like the sunflowers in our jardín. Gold and yellow on the outside with black seeds en el centro. I sprinkle them with sea salt for lunch. Crunch, munch. Let me know in the chat if tostones or patacones are your favorite way to eat plátanos. When we share them con nuestra familia y amigos, abuela says, our ancestors planted semillas with the wish that one day future generations would come together para comerlos. I look around at mi familia grande and think, their wish came true. And to find out how it ends, you're going to either need to buy the book or request it from your local library. All right. So remember, keep popping those questions in the chat. We will get to them. And thank you all for listening. We're going to learn more about the illustration process.
Hi, everyone. So that's one of my favorite spreads too, that Alyssa shared. I'm gonna show y'all some of the images I have prepared here for how I begin to illustrate a book. And let's see how to share my screen. 1 second. Yes. Screen 2. Okay. Now, can you guys see? Can you just let me know? You guys can see? Okay, so I'm gonna start with the cover. So basically, actually, let me start with the reference. So before I do anything, when I now begin to illustrate a book or I get the idea for a book that's come in the form of a manuscript, the first thing I do is I go and I collect a lot of reference. It's just all of these images. Now I just put together a few for you guys, but it's all of these images just to get a feel of the book and the color palette and just the general vibe of it. And here I have this one and this one, which is 1 second. Yeah, just a lot of plantain, a lot of plantain trees, a lot of kitchens and homes because we really wanted the book to have a really homey feel. And then, after I do all of my work in references, when I draw, I try to lay it out like this so you guys can see everything reads cohesively like a book. But yeah, so this is the first spread. I go from a really rough thumbnail, really, really rough. So you can see it here, extremely rough. And it's just figuring out shapes, where to place things, like the general composition and then where the words go. And this changes over and over and over. I can show you, this is the second pass. So we have some of the characters coming in and the main characters, Esme and her abuela. And by the third, I have the paint laid in. And the last one is the final. So that's how it goes. Like do a little flip back for you guys. I know it's ugly, but it works. Trust me, it works. There. And I tried to stay really close to the initial idea. I can show you the second spread as well. So you would have seen this when Alyssa was reading the book. This is her reaching for the Plátanos and her ancestors on the right. You see I make all these scribbly notes here. And it goes from this to this. This is a cleaned up version. And this is the final. Our designer, Karen had this great idea to put a transition between the street cobblestone / tiles and the ancestor flashback. So we can see it just kind of fade in, which I think really brought it together. This one was nice, but having more than one pair of eyes on it really helps like that. And I can show you one. We have a couple more quickly. This one, again, really rough line work. It's not very clean, and some things do change. So by the paint, some things stay the same, but some things change. And I'm really interested when I'm drawing in how I use shapes and shape language. So you can see the cutouts and just the way the path leads down to the mom and her babies in the foreground. And I really wanted to show, faces on the ancestors and just let them get a sense of them being people and not just these faceless black and white pictures of people you may have seen. So this one is a little later, but it's one of my favorites because it's so fun. You can see Esme is very excited about the Plátanos, and here we are. And the grandma's dress is, I'm sure, something you've all seen on your Caribbean granny 100 times. It's just very, very iconic. Loose, tie-dye-ish floral pattern. Yeah. So lastly, I'll show you guys the cover. And here we are. So it's all very rough in the beginning. And we have a few passes. These are not the only thumbnails. Sometimes I have 4 or 5 thumbnails, even more, before we whittle it down. You have the color, and then the final one when Karen put on the beautiful font. So yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions, you can let me know.
Oh, that was so cool to watch. As someone who literally can only get by drawing stick figures, it's
I see someone asks, how long does it take you to get from inspiration to a final product? Generally, the schedule for a picture book is ideally 8 months, which is a nice amount of time. But I think this one was maybe like 6 months, not too bad. But it's just a lot of ideations, and our editor and designer and Alyssa, everybody kind of chimes in, gives a little bit input, what they want to see, what they like, what they would like to see highlighted more, and that really helps. So it does take a while. It's not like 1, 2, 3, like I showed it. It does take a while to go through. And then we're working on, give or take, 15 of those spreads at the same time. So it's not like one.
And on that note, I didn't know that that's how it works on the illustration side in terms of the writing process. I actually started writing Plátanos back in 2018, and we are in 2023. So for those who don't know, publishing is slow. It's like hurry up to slow down.
It takes a long while. And we finished this a while ago too. Like we're only now getting to see it out in the world, but we've been sitting on it for a while. We have all our copies.
And it was so hard to keep it a secret too. I mean, even after like the whole process of like you write the book and you share it with critique partners, and then you share it with your agent, or you query an agent with it, and then an editor hopefully likes it. Like that process can take years. So I share that only so that if you are in that process, in the query trenches, like don't give up, just keep at it. I know my mentor Donna is in here, and I'm just like, literally like, Donna, I cried. Thank you for the flowers. Donna knows what a process it was, because not only is she an award-winning author, but we went through many books together. And ironically, this is the third book that I wrote, but it's the first one that's coming out. So writing is fun. Keep at it if that's something that you're interested in. Just don't worry about when it's going to get acquired or any of that stuff. Do it for the love of the craft. And if I skipped a question, we'll get to it, I promise. Here we go. It's going to take me a bit because you guys are awesome and have been putting so much in the chat. So this is me saying thank you. And I'm using my skimming skills to try to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. I am going to share that even though that's not a question. Oh, this one came up a couple times. So is there a recipe in the book? Tuddle.
There's more
Yeah.
than one.
You get the recipes for tostones. You get the recipes for mangú and maduros. And I love how you made it like a little notebook.
Yeah.
The little doodles on there. Like it's
I think there's one with Abuela, and I had like a stick figure of Abuela with her big hoops.
right
That's like
there.
when and that's the kids with them. I had fun drawing those. Those were the funnest part of the book to draw.
Such a pleasant surprise. It was just like, oh, here's some random words in an unattractive manuscript, you know, like and then like the way you brought it to life. It's just so much fun. Here's a good one. Ha! What is your favorite plátano recipe? I'm gonna let you take this one first.
Tostones.
Really?
Yeah, I eat a lot of like maduros, but tostones.
Okay. You know,
It's too good.
you're not gonna like my answer. You're not gonna like
What's
my answer.
yours?
It really depends on my mood. You know, like there's times where I'm like, I want something crunchy and crispy and savory, and then it's tostones. But there's times where I'm like, I need something sweet. So you know, it just then I go.
I will say I eat a lot more maduros because I forget it and it gets black, and I'm like, okay, time to fry.
Yeah, been there. We have a lot of tostones. We have mofongo. Can I tell y'all how hard it was to narrow it down just to 3 things because it's a picture book, so it had to be small.
Mm-hmm.
So a very, very, very early draft back in 2018 was a very different manuscript, actually. And it was more of like an international manuscript of the different ways that we eat plátanos, like around the globe. And so I had like recipes from Nigeria, I had recipes from South Africa, I had recipes from like all over the world. And it was a lot of fun. I definitely wanted to put some mofongo up in there because I mean mofongo is delicious, but I had to narrow it down. So those were the 3 that made the cut, not because they're the best, because again, I'm the one who can't pick favorites, but just because those were the easiest ones to write recipes for.
It's very fair.
All right, so let's see here. I'm just
gonna making everyone hungry.
Love. Yes, so that's the good thing, you know, like when you get to the end of the book, you're gonna be starving, and then you have the amazing spreads with the recipes on there. Okay. Here we go. All right, here we go. Anna has another question. How long did it take you to illustrate this book? You kind of answered it a little bit, but
yeah. I'm gonna say like without edits, maybe about 5 months. Again, the process is really long because then there's a period of time where you don't hear back because they're all reviewing it. They're passing it through different departments. You're not going to hear back for a while. And that's a great time because then you take your eyes off of it. And then when you go back to it, I'm like, oh, I see all of these things I can make better or fix. So yeah, it does take a while. If I'm illustrating something on my own, it's definitely going to be shorter. That's because I'm the judge and jury, right? But you know, you're taking it to other people to make sure it's marketable, to make sure it looks good, to make sure it's accurate and matching the manuscript and stuff. So yeah, I'd say maybe like if I minus all the extra edits, because there are a lot of edits, I'd say maybe 5 months.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's 7 days a week. 7 days a week. I think coming out to the book deadline, sometimes I work like maybe like 15 to 18-hour days. It's crazy. Like it's
a lot.
It's very crazy. Yeah, I remember my husband going to bed one night, and it was the night that the finals were due. And he woke up at 8 in the morning. I was still like on the computer. It's a lot of work, you know, but it's worth it to see it. It's really a labor of love to see it all together in the end. So good.
Thank you so much. I mean, I really hope we get to work together again because
I know. Me too. Me too.
I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna let you take this one first. Donna asked, when and with whom was your earliest memory of eating plátanos, tostones, or mofongo?
I can't remember. I can't remember. I have been eating plantain all my life. Like I think since I was a baby. As a teen, we planted plantain trees in the back of my house, and I got a bunch from them like last month by my mom. You know, it's forever. Like I have no recollection, none.
You
What
know,
about you?
I think that's why I asked you to answer it first, because maybe in your answer you might help me think of my moment. But
Mhm.
I have the same experience. I've literally been eating plátanos for as long as I can remember. What I can share is my first memory of my daughter eating plátanos for the first time. So it was actually her first solid food. She was about like 8 months old. And we were like slowly transitioning her like to softer foods, you know, solids. And we were eating tostones. And I gave her a piece just to see, like, can I tell you, this child was sucking on that tostone like I had never fed her in her entire life.
You've solved that child.
It was so funny, but it was like this beautiful moment of like, yes, it makes perfect sense that my daughter's first solid food is a toston. Like,
It
perfect.
makes so much sense.
The challenge was trying to get it away from her once it got too small, and I was a little worried that she was going to choke
It
on
just
it.
gets soggy.
Yeah. It was like just mush, and then she was mad at me, and then I gave her another piece, and then we were fine, you know. But
Yeah.
can't remember my memory, but I will always and forever remember my daughters.
Of course. Yeah.
All right, and then here, related to that question, I think tostones for my daughter. She doesn't really like the maduros.
No. Oh. That's so weird because they're sweet.
I know, that's what I thought, but you know,
Yeah.
your taste buds change every 7 years, so
That's true.
you know, she has a couple more years to go to hopefully like them. Here we go. Ooh, here's another one. Tostones rellenos. Oh, that sounds delicious. Little fried plantain cups, traditionally smashed with meat. You know, that sounds like an alcapurria. Puerto Ricans and Dominicans eat alcapurria, and it's like you can make the masa out of plantains or like yuca, and then you put like the meat in it, and then you fry it because like hello, everything tastes better fried. Thanks for sharing these. And then we have one more question in here. Oh,
Which one's
ooh,
it's
this is
hard.
a hard
It's
one.
hard.
Gabby.
I just posted one to my Instagram, which is the final spread of the book. And yeah, that one is my favorite because it was just such a warm, fuzzy moment to illustrate. And you have like this golden light that I put coming down on the family. And for me, I always was out around dusk with my grandparents. They were always there every day around sunset. And something about dusk just reminds me of that like warm, fuzzy family moment where you're just cuddling up with your grandparents outside and the breeze is blowing. Especially in the Caribbean, it's very warm, but not so hot at that point in time, you know. And it was just very nostalgic for me to draw and I'm all cuddled together.
I love that. Honestly, y'all are killing me here. I think if I had to only pick one, it would be. You have kitty cats.
He wants to go out there.
He wants to join the Plátano party.
Yeah. He went out already. I don't know what he's about.
I think this is probably my favorite spread. Like, look at that
was fun.
beautiful melanated family. Like, come on, y'all.
That was fun.
Like,
Yeah. And I get like, I think my favorite is the uncle in the background, like the uncle grandpa. It's like everybody has an uncle who looks like that. Like, that's just how he looks.
yes. And I love the different like hairstyles that you got to incorporate. Like,
Actually, the Bantu knots on the auntie on the right was actually one of Esme's first designs. And I really like them, but we ended up going with the curly hair. And I was like, I have to use this in again. It's just so fun to draw. It's so cute.
oh, so good. But I really do love the whole book. So like, it's hard to pick. But if we're twisting arms here, it would have to be that.
Yeah.
Hi, Jolene. So I teach a comfort food unit using picture books with my elementary kids, and so excited. All to include Plátanos Are Love in that unit. You're gonna make me cry.
That's so
Let me
sweet.
know if you want stickers for your kiddos. I ordered these babies. Wait, there we go.
Oh.
Look at Isme. So let me know if that's of interest. You know how to find me. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just taking a quick inventory of time. We're doing pretty good. I'm going to introduce the giveaway concept that we are talking about. And so thanks for sticking in. If there's any other questions that you have, please feel free to pop them in. So for a giveaway, you're going to need paper and either like markers or pens or something fun. Someone is going to win a signed copy of Plátanos Are Love, as well as some fun stickers. And in order to win, you have to draw your favorite way to eat plátanos. As we already shared, there are like 101 ways to eat plátanos. Tostones, mofongo, pastelón, yaroa. Like, we can go all day here. But what is your favorite way to eat plátanos? And no judgment, because remember, I draw stick figures. So the contest is going on up until Thursday. So hoy es Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. You have today, you have tomorrow, and you have the day after. Then on Friday, I will pick the winner. And this giveaway is exclusive to those of you who showed up for me today. Thank you, because I was hecka nervous. So this is a great way to kick off the book tour, because it's nice to do it from the comfort of my own home.
Less anxiety.
Right. But we will be going live. I'm actually going to share some of the details about my next couple events in case you are in the area. So if you're in the Philly area, if you're in the Baltimore area, if you're in the New York area, hopefully I'll be able to see you all in person, sign them books, give you some stickers. So yeah, this is a great first one. Thank you, Angela. You're amazing. I love you. I'm going to bring you back in here. And so a good question here. Where do we post the drawing? Yes. Thank you, Anna. I am so glad you are here. Gracias for keeping my head on straight. So after you draw your picture, I want you to post it on social. It could be Instagram. It could be Twitter. And then use the hashtag Plátanos Are Love. That's how I'll be able to keep track of it. Hashtag Plátanos Are Love. Thank you, Susan. I'm glad you think so. I literally thought about it 2 days ago. So, so you're going to draw your favorite way to eat plátanos. You're going to post it on social. You're going to hashtag Plátanos Are Love in there. And then on Friday, I will announce the winner, signed book, fun stickers. Any questions? Preguntas about the giveaway? I would love to come to Tennessee. I just need to figure out whose couch I'm crashing on. My back can still handle it maybe for a couple more years, but then eventually I got to upgrade. All right, I see some Philly in here. So yes, I will be, for those of you in Philly, I will be at Julia de Burgos in North Philly on the 15th from 10 a.m. to 12. We will have tostones. We will have maduros. We will have cake. There will be cake. So it's going to be a party. We're going to be dancing. There's going to be interactive activities for the kiddos. It's going to be a whole family affair. Think of this as like a prom 2.0 for those of us who were awkward. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a party. So if you're in Philly, I hope I see you there. Other bookstores that I'm hitting up are Café con Libros and the Lit Bar in the Bronx. I'm just gonna have to drop the link in there because my memory is not great right now. But shout out to independent bookstores. Shout out to you, Angela. Thank you so much for holding space for our stories, making space for our narratives and experiences. I literally don't know how I would have been able to do this without y'all. Seriously. Thank you, everyone who joined. Any more questions about the giveaway? Any other questions you want to ask all of us? We're here for a little bit longer.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Carmel, one of the first people from Trinidad to pre-order our book. I see she's in here today. Hi, Carmel.
Oh, that's so cool. There's so many amazing people. I've seen people, like, everybody represented. I love doing this. I especially love doing this with Caribbeans because, first of all, we're badass. And I saw there's a Panamanian there, and I just decided, like, Panamanians are, the Caribbean Sea is on one side of Panama, and we are Caribbean too. Although I'm also Puerto Rican, and my great grandfather is from Martinique as well. So, like, I would love to hear you guys talk more about your islands, and if anybody wanted to share things about that they love about there, because I feel like plantains is sort of joking in our private chat that Mariyah and Alyssa need to do a book about yuca too, because like plantains and yuca are the starches that make us, right? They're like the bedrock of everything about our families. And I was laughing because when Alyssa was telling her story about when her daughter first had it. Okay, I'll tell my story about when Lucito, my son, first had plantain. So I was in Baltimore for a conference, and my mom was with me, and she was taking care of him. And I'm on the board of the American Booksellers Association, so I was there for like a board meeting and like the big bookseller conference. And we ordered Cuban one night, and she was there, and Lucito was like 8 months old. So he was just like 7 or 8 months old. So he was only crawling, barely eating solid food. And I came back to the room after running for something, and the food was there. And I see my mom sitting on the bed, and she's got Lucito on her lap, and in her hand is this huge like Maduro, and she's got it, and Lucito's just got her hand, and he's just like sucking on it, like just gnawing on it. And it was the funniest, cutest. Because I was like, and she gives me this look because I hadn't told her that he could do that, like that she would be allowed to do that. She's just like, "Hello, daughter."
Like, I raised all of you. That whole I did this before. I know what I'm doing. This is fine. It was a very similar experience, actually.
Yeah, I felt it was very fitting that it was his abuela who gave him his first, and ever since then he loves it bananas. Plantains are his number one favorite food. But yeah, I'd love to hear more about like what you guys. I know you're also Boricua, Alyssa, and you're Dominican, and I love it when I get to do things with people from Trinidad and Tobago. Always some of my favorite people too. That's like what are the things we love about our islands? Let's talk about that.
Well, actually, I'm going to do a shameless plug for my third book that's coming out. Gloriana Presente is a first day of school book, and there are a lot of callbacks to the island. It's really like an intergenerational story of the main character, Gloriana, learning to find her voice at her first day of school. And her journey mirrors her grandmother's immigration story, finding her voice in a new country. And so there's a lot of callbacks to the island. There's mangoes and coconuts and the montañas and dancing trees. And it's very like poetic and lyrical. So all the things that I love about my island, it was really hard to jam pack it in that book. But mangoes, coconuts, the music, the people, and the dancing trees.
I love that.
That's great. I mean, for me, I'm here right now. I'm in Trinidad right now. We came back. I mean, my husband came back. Whoop, that's my cat. Say hi, Luna. We found her in a box at the side of the road.
Oh.
They're You're so cute.
I know. Yeah, we moved back maybe about a year and a half ago just to work remote. Not sure how long we'll be here again, but just soaking it up. I think my friends, I think it's a big thing. Like, you don't make any friends that are friends the way your childhood and teenage friends were, and coming back and having that kind of support network is just, you can't imagine. Like, you can't get that when you migrate. It's not the same. And mangoes. I was so sick of mangoes. I didn't eat mangoes for many years. That's how many. Because my mom they have a mango tree in their yard. This mango tree is about like 100 years old, and it makes like it has the best mangoes, the best. Yeah, and the beach. I mean, you can go to the sea, but it's not the Caribbean Sea. We kind of stuck up like that.
Yeah.
I lived in Los Angeles for like 5 years. I'd go and I'd be like, what is this? Why is this so cold? This is not up to scratch.
And the
Two
seagulls, like that, I'm definitely gonna sound super elitist on this one, but like, we don't have seagulls in the Caribbean, at least not in DR or in Puerto Rico.
No, we have a ton. They're wild. Yeah. We have, and pelicans. We have a lot of pelicans.
Okay, so I'm talking about DR and PR, and it's so nice to go on the beach and not to be heckled by aggressive seagulls that are trying to steal your food out of your plate. Like, the struggle is real. Like,
they are aggressive.
You guys, the seagulls have taken over Dublin. I was in Dublin, and like, they're just everywhere. And there was one that was like walking down the street with Lucito, and like, the one just came and perched down on a thing and just sort of stared at me like I was in his hood, and I better watch my back. And I was like, okay. they're not even on the beach.
No, they are aggressive.
Our vision of aggressive birds are Caribbean grackles. They're these blackbirds, and they're wild. Like, if they're nesting on that street, you don't walk on that street because they will attack you and they'll steal your food. They'll peck the hell out of your head. Like, they're wild. Like, they're worse than seagulls. I'm not gonna lie. I saw like there was an empty street the other day we were driving down, and 2 foreigners, maybe Americans, were walking down the road, and we were like, "Go, run! Don't stay there." It's wild. It's wild.
It's like, I feel bad because it's like we've killed a bunch of their food or taken it. So I mean, I kind of get it, but it's also a little freaky.
Yeah,
they wake up in the night, you guys. They'd just be like huge because they nest on the roofs of like Dublin, and they just be like these. You could like flocks in the night, like making. And I was just like, this is the most wild thing I've been a lot of places, but this is weird because the last time I was in Dublin, which was about 7 years ago, it was not like that. So I don't know.
They took over.
Yeah, they just totally took over. Anyway, there's another question.
I love these tangents though. I'm here for it. So thank you so much for this question. Yes. Let's talk about R&Rs. Revise and resubmits are real. Long story short, when I went on sub for Plátanos Are Love with my agent, Caitlin, love you. We got 3 R&Rs for it. So I had 3 different editors give me feedback on the manuscript that they loved it, but it wasn't ready yet, which is totally valid. Especially, like, think about it, before publishers make the financial investment to buy and acquire your manuscript, they want to know that you can edit. Editing is a skill. And before, like, they invest in you, like, they want to make sure that you can be receptive and can take, like, that constructive criticism. So actually, because I'm a crazy person, I did all 3 because it all resonated. 3 very different sets of feedback, but I was in it. I was like, yeah, I can see that being really good. So I did all 3, and then fast forward, went back a couple times. Our amazing editor, Alex, was the direction that fit the best. And then Alex just really elevated the whole text. Like I'm just so grateful to Alex. And might be working with Alex again in the future. So stay tuned.
She's great. Alex is so great.
Love Alex. Love Alex. So yeah, revise and resubmits. You know, you might get them from an editor. You might get them from an agent. I know a lot of authors that have gotten revise and resubmits from agents, and it's mostly because they want to see your editorial flex. They want to see how you can take feedback and how receptive you can be and what you're able to do with it. So I strongly encourage them. It's not 100% guaranteed that after you do the revise and resubmit, that you'll, you know, it'll get acquired, but it's a good skill, and it's good to just try it, just to see like if you discover something new in the editing process. And there were parts, even though I went with the version that we did with Alex, there were parts from the other revisions that I was able to incorporate into it. So it's all part of like the writing process. And I'm glad that I did them all. I did all the things. So do all the things is my recommendation. And so we are almost on time here. Thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, we still have like 5 more minutes that we can stay on. Don't forget about that giveaway. Remember, giveaway, your favorite way to eat plátanos. Your favorite way to eat plátanos using the hashtag Plátanos Are Love on Instagram and Twitter. And then one winner is going to get a signed book and some beautiful ISME stickers. Okay?
Let's see if we can drop the book link in the chat again. I'm not sure.
See, it's in there. So let's do it again.
I can't tell. There's like, y'all are so wonderful and participatory. I didn't even see. But just one last time. Because if you don't have this book, yeah. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. Well, before I let you go, if there's no more questions, I always want to hear what my guests are reading and loving right now. So, Alyssa, Mariyah, what books are you recommending that you're loving right now?
Too many. So I'm actually reading a couple middle grade because I want to dabble in middle grade. So I'm going to pull them off my shelf while you think of your answer.
I'm blanking. I'm totally blanking. And it's weird because I read nonstop.
I know, I put you on the spot, so you're like...
I know, Adventures of Amina El-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty.
Yeah, it's on my TBR.
I just started because I loved her Day for Bad series. I loved it so much because in my family, I grew up Muslim. So just seeing those characters, it was so good. And seeing like all of the folklore and legends and mystical figures and stuff that you learn about, like that's, I mean, as you can tell, I'm really mixed. Like we have a lot of stuff going on.
Going to the top of my list. Thank you.
Yeah. It's good. Alyssa, what about you? You're muted.
Sorry. We both picked stuff with like magic and sci-fi.
Love a good fantasy. Love it.
Read it. I'm going to read it like maybe 100 more times. Donna's
on my list.
The Last Cuentista. So good. Like, the first chapter is going to have you sobbing. So have the Kleenex ready. Because there's some heavy abuela up in here. And Plátanos Are Love is really heavy on the abuela. So just fair warning. But like literally read this so fast. And I'm a very slow reader. So like I read it and I'm just like, when can I read it again? Total Eclipse. Nectar, like so good. It's like magic and just, I know she has another one coming out that I haven't read yet, but I need to get on it.
These are excellent recommendations. Thank you both.
And then last
Oh,
one,
and Witchling.
Witchlings.
And
Ghost Squad was so good by Claribel. Like, I'm excited to read this one. And then her second one, because there's 2 in this series that are out already. So I think it's a 3-part series. So these are the middle grades that I'm enjoying these days, because one day I will get my act together and write a middle grade novel. I'm loving my picture book world, but I do want to challenge myself and write a middle grade novel. So I've just been immersing myself in the world. So those are some fun ones. And yes, Anna, thank you so much for asking the best questions. The book will be personalized. So the winner of the giveaway will have a personalized copy. I'll say really nice things. I'll be way more eloquent than I'm being right now, I promise. And then get some stickers. So thank you for asking that. That is super good of a question. And I did see another question pop up, the word count. So I'll be honest, I don't remember what the final word count for Plátanos Are Love is. I think it hovered around the 600 or 700 range, because there was just so many drafts back and forth. It was a lot. So I would say my manuscripts are a little bit on the longer end. They hover between that like 600, 700 word count, because they're very like poetic and lyrical, and there's a lot of themes in there. So definitely pay attention to the word count as a picture book, author, especially while you're querying agents. Agents do like to see your word count in that query letter. But when it comes time to work with an editor, they don't care as much. Obviously, it depends on the editor. Their main thing is like that the story has a clear beginning, middle, and end, that the ending is a satisfying ending with like that emotional resonance moment. They're more worried about the quality of the work. And whatever doesn't move the narrative forward will obviously get filtered out. But yeah, that's why I don't exactly remember the word count. But that's a good range-ish to like think about. And yes, Anna, there are several places you can buy signed copies now. I will pop that in the chat. You can get them at Julia de Burgos. You can get it at Loyalty Bookstore. You can get signed copies at Children's Book World. So I will put the link in the chat for that. And also just DM me on Insta. Like if I'm a millennial, so I'm like still kind of like, on there. If you want to know where you can buy a signed copy, I will put it in. I will happily respond, but I will put that in here for now. Thank you for that question, Anna. You're the best. And you're the best critique partner. Shameless plug for Anna and her books. She is hilarious. Like, if you haven't read Anna's books, like, oh my gosh, Babysitter, like when your babysitter is a bruja, that book is hilarious. I'm going to put that in the chat here because it is hilarious. So bear with me as I look it up.
Anna's just asking all the great questions.
Anna's asking all the great questions. So this is the link to her book. Her book, and it's If Your Babysitter is a Bruja. I mean, who hasn't thought about their babysitter being a bruja before, right? Like, hello. Best question ever, and the most adorable response. And then I will put the link to where you can buy some signed copies of the book in 1 segundo. And if you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Thank you all for coming. I am so proud of myself for not crying a ton. I was tearing up a little bit here and there, but fortunately, because I wear glasses, you can't see them. Ha ha ha.
Crying is good.
Crying
is good. It's like, water loves us, and it gave us tears.
It does.
Tears, and
my problem is I can't stop once I start.
She just goes.
Yeah. It's a hurricane.
Yeah.
Blood.
Yeah. You break free.
it comes all out. So,
Yes.
link for, oh, thank you. Congratulations. Yes, thank you for all the congratulations. The link is in the chat now where you can get signed copies. And then feel free to just message me on social if you need anything else. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I know that there's a lot of authors in here. So I'm excited for your book launches and I will be there.
Congratulations again to both of you. What a beautiful book. What a
Thank
amazing
you.
job.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for hosting
Thank you
us.
to everybody. Thank you everybody who came out tonight to celebrate this. All our love to you.
Love you all. Bye.
Thanks so much.